It's always the waiting game. We're probably already on and we don't even know it.
Right? It's the way it goes.
Yeah. I think we should have the theme to Jeopardy in the background. And I believe we are streaming live. Hello, Facebook.
Hello.
And the vast internet world and all that are joining us today and in the future. Myself and Amber Price are so excited to be back at the Insiders today, brought to you by Giant TV and Very Paranormal. We are so excited because it's springtime.
Oh, thank goodness.
Oh,
thank goodness.
Right?
Yes.
It has been a heck of a busy year for us. We're not going to lie. We both are very aware that we have not been on as much as we'd like to, but we've been very busy planning and creating for the future. So we're on today because we want to talk about how spring is the perfect launch board for you guys out there to start planning and planting the seeds ahead for your future for the rest of this year. So Amber, what kind of things are you doing to plan for the year ahead?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I know.
You know, it's all about rebirth, right? So shedding the old existence of self and becoming very aware and in alignment with your current self, which is hopefully more centered with your authentic being, right? I know I'm very delayed in the video here. I see this.
Oh, good.
Okay.
I think people are just going to be so excited to see us, Amber. They're not going to care.
Hopefully, we're excited to be able to talk to them today. Yeah. So basically, we've got a lot of things going on here, personally, professionally, building stuff, lots of exciting things and networking with people and publications and things like that are going on. But what I wanted to say is none of this stuff actually happens unless you clear space for it, right? So when you have to go through the end months of winter time, it really is more of a rough time because you have to kind of get rid of all of the dark side, because spring is the light. So now that we're in spring, we have a balance of the light and the dark side of ourselves. So really just working on trying to align a little bit better, and with more light comes more power and energy to give you that motivation, right?
I am so digging the light.
Yes.
Right? Like, are you not just digging this, like waking up and it's sunshine?
Yes.
Like going later and later and later in the day, and we just have this wonderful sunshine. It just fills my soul. I love, love, love it. Yeah, so you're absolutely right, Amber. We've got this opportunity now to really make some strides in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with everything that's gone on, you know, I mean, we could talk for days about all the negatives that are happening around us, but we don't need to do that because it's not going to change anything. What's going to change is your decisions today are going to impact your future tomorrows. Mm-hmm. So the kinds of things I'm doing now is setting a schedule for, like, I'm planning a month ahead, I'm planning 3 months ahead, 6 months ahead, and in a year ahead. I have goals that I have set up for myself, and you know where I want to be. Specific things, like I get real down and dirty with the specifics. That
was fun.
That was great.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like hit the reset button there. Like, that's how easy it is, right? Yes. Yeah. So, you know, just if you're not planning ahead, I remember hearing or reading somewhere years and years and years ago that, you know, 98% of the world's population is on the same track. They are winging it. They are just floating through space, expecting the same old, and they get up and they do the drone thing. They go to work, they come home, they cook their meal, they watch TV, go to bed, repeat next day, repeat next day. 2% of the world's population creates a plan, and they plan their days, weeks, months, years ahead. And it's that 2% of the world's population that is in the wealthiest. Number one, they're the wealthiest, but they're also the most content source of the population. And the reason for it is because they know what to expect. And when you're winging it, which is kind of what we've all been, we've all been trained to do that, because like society, right? We just drone through. We got to get up, go do our job, come home, take care of the house, take care of the kids, take care of the animals, whatever it is. We got to do all these things, and we can still do all those things, but we can have a plan. And that's the goal for today. Right, Amber?
Absolutely. And I think the key to that is when you have goals, it makes you take a self-inventory of what it is that will feed your happiness and raise that energetic vibration. And I think that's why you alluded to the fact that they're some of the happiest people. It's not because they have the financial abundance. It's not because they have a better partner or because they have a bigger house or whatever. It's because they have an idea of who they truly are. And I think that's where the happiness is coming from, in terms of getting into the space where you feel like you're able to really be yourself and have your voice heard. And that's what we're all looking for, is the visibility of being seen as we are and accepted for who we are. So when you make those goals, you have to really take that self-inventory of, who am I? Who do I want to be? And how do I get there? Because when you wing it, that creates anxiety, right? Because you're like, I'm hoping everything's just going to come to me. I'm hoping I have the opportunity. Those 2% of people don't tell others or their colleagues or their other, 1.5% of people that they're lucky. But I hear that everybody, says you're lucky if you're successful. You're lucky if you're happy. It has nothing to do with luck. It has to do with the fact that somebody identifies what they want and they make plans to go get it. And along the way, the biggest thing is shift gears if it's no longer what you need or want. Like, don't think like, oh, I'm a failure because I can't get to that space. Like, Liz, some of your goals might change. Some of my goals might change, and that's okay. Accepting that it changes no longer good for us is part of the happiness, right?
Exactly. Well, I just want to say, I'm so happy that your little kitty has joined us today. Look at that sweet little thing. Oh my goodness, so cute, so cute. I said to my cat, Mr. Biggs, I said, you can join us. I'm doing a show with Amber today, and he's running down the stairs with me, but he's under the desk right now. So I know, it's like our kitties just have to join us on the mission.
Yeah, so, she's not really happy now because I've got a little lipstick kiss on her.
I love it. Oh my gosh, she's just
gave me the Garfield, like, are you serious look?
Seriously, Mom, come on. Yeah. But alluding to the whole idea of planning ahead, every human being on the planet likes to be in control. There is not a soul on the planet that doesn't like to be in control. But we do allude to handing our power or our control over to others all the time. It is something that we naturally, gravitate towards, especially when we're in victim energy, right? And so you'll have those feelings of, I can't because this won't work for me because I don't have the money to do that. You play out all those victim roles of, what it is that you can't do, and you're not being within the control of what you can do. And it's not about, setting a goal and have it materialize in front of you in the immediate. Things take time. And so not only do you need to plan, but you need to practice patience, and you have to practice perseverance. And like you had alluded to, Amber, you can let go of things that aren't working. That's perfectly fine. In fact, how many things have you started that didn't germinate to the full tree that you had expected it to be? I can tell you, I got hundreds of things. So, it's, I think it was not Thomas Edison. It was Alexander. Who was it that invented the light bulb? Edison?
Sure. I was thinking about all the things I let go of. I wasn't thinking if I invented the light bulb at that moment. That sounds good. Let's go with that. I'm sure someone will correct us or affirm.
Somebody correct us if we're wrong. But it was somebody had said that, he invented the light bulb. This was an amazing achievement. but he had tried thousands and thousands and thousands of inventions to get him to that point. So, you know, maybe he didn't start out going, you know, I'm going to invent a light bulb. He started out, you know, I want to create electricity. Who knows how it played out? But the bottom line was he created that as a result of all the failures. So I think it's a big deal for people to know, Amber, that you're going to have failures. And that doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean that you're, you know, wrong or bad, or, you know, that you suck at life. My goodness, it means you're accepting and moving on. That's all it means.
Yeah. And, you know, I think the thing is, spiritually, when you're connecting, you know, when you're connecting to yourself to receive that insight that you need, it means that you have been able to let go of what everybody else wants you to be or need or expect, right? So when we spring into ourselves right now and release all of that stuff, we're really, you know, you get that spring fever. That's the thing I'm thinking about right now. It's like, everybody feels freaking amazing in the springtime. You get that spring fever, you're happy, you're spring cleaning, you're doing all the stuff, you're outside, you're gardening, you're you know, that is the emotion that we want to bottle up and keep with us. But why is that? It's because universally, the energy is really of rebirthing and recreating. And it allows us to see that even if your plants died last year or struggled, they have now bloomed up beautiful again. So that's no different than our own ego and our own higher self. Is spring allows us to feel that chance of, you know, second chances, rebirth, that feeling. And when you have that high vibration energy, it really motivates you to get to those goals you're talking about, Liz. And it's and that's what excites us and gets us to that space, and you know, really creating new things, and maybe it's recreating yourself. And I think that's probably what a lot of us have been doing last spring, for sure. It was recreating ourselves.
Oh my gosh.
To really kind of get into the holy hurry quick and figure something out kind of mode. And this year you're probably, you know, redefining what that looks like, and refining how you're doing it. And maybe you're taking the big chances this year because you know, this is your time now. But what is something you're doing, Liz? Like something that you realized from winter to spring, your soul made some sort of shift, or your ego shifted?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, it's been a number of things, but I would say probably the main thing is just, I have gone back, I had gone away from charting out my day. So I have a calendar on my phone, and that's what I've lived by forever. So everything goes into that. What I've done is I've gotten myself a desk calendar, and I've written down everything that needs to be done. And that's like charting out my day from the beginning to the end, which is just keeping me so in check, because I have a terrible memory. So I have to do that for me. So anybody that's watching this that has a terrible memory, instead of falling prey to, I have a terrible memory, I can't remember anything, do something that's going to shift that, and so that you don't have to think anymore. And it's actually a beautiful thing, having everything written out. So I have it in my hand, but now I have it with my phone, but I have it on my desk as well. The other thing I'm doing is really clearing so I've been doing a lot of meditation and clearing a lot of you know, hangups over things that didn't come to fruition, and which is why I wanted to sort of go, like, we wanted to talk about this today. Like, I had a few projects that maybe didn't go where I wanted them to go, and I had to release and let go of that. And so the spring, and in order to start some new projects, as you and I have been doing, I had to let go of stuff, because it was like scary to me. How am I going to fit this in? It was like really feeling a little scary, in that I was excited. I knew I needed to go forward, but I was like, oh my gosh, something's got to give here. So I allowed myself permission to let go of things that weren't, or hang-ups over the things that weren't germinating as quickly as I'd like them to. And what a freeing process that was, Amber. Just like letting go. I made the decision. There was no physical work in letting go other than just making the decision. And what it change it made in my whole demeanor, in my just my joy and my happiness on a day-to-day basis. Huge. What about you?
Oh, that's amazing. It's nice to feel it from you, right? It's like, it's so freeing. You're right. Um, I feel like I feel the same way. There's so many things that are going on that I'm always yes for certain people to be involved with certain people. You're my ride and die, babe. So I kind of just jump on the wagon with you, or off the wagon or into the ocean or off a cliff. I don't know, whatever. So
God for you. You're my yes partner.
So yeah, I feel like there was that, moment where it was like, what is most important to my values and to my belief system and to my mission as Amber Price of, am I in 100%? Because I have to go all in. When I do something, I'm all in. So how do I be all in and still manage, wife, mother, daughter, sister, aunt, grandmother, all those roles. And then also still, do what I'm here to be doing. And so I feel that from you. I think mine was a little bit different. I feel like I heard you say about time management. I think mine was more about love. And I'll explain. It was about going back to myself and figuring out what made me smile, what made me happy, what was I smiling at when I didn't expect to be smiling, or somebody caught that joy on my face. And if that was identified, I kept it in my life. And then I kind of grew it from there, and I decided what was staying and who was staying and going from there. But it became all about love. Like, what did I love to do? What did I like my soul love? And then I kind of went from there. And then the timing is working itself out because it's more or less just fitting in. But the one thing I realized that has to go, that I was fighting going, was I love to do individual one-on-one sessions. And for years I've been saying I can't do them forever. They're very demanding spiritually, emotionally, and physically for me, physically. And so it's been slowly a progression over, how do I release this? Because this is really what I feel like I need to be doing. So it really was a moment of, okay, those are less and less until they're no more. So I think that was probably the hardest thing to let go of, was really the idea of what I needed to do versus the idea of what the universe is calling me to do, which is a different awareness of what I even had at that moment. And now I'm seeing it, I'm hearing it, and I've received the message. And so now the shift begins. So mine was love.
I love that you shared that, Amber, because there are so many people watching this right now going, wow, Amber's going to let that go. Wow. And here's the thing. This is you recognizing what works for you. And when we have and so here's the thing, our work creates an identity within us, right? So I see this all the time with people that I read for that are about to go into retirement, or a year away from retirement, or looking to transition from one job, which is their identity, into a completely different realm. And it's so overwhelming and scary because we associate what we do with our identity. And the reality is, love is our identity. Yes. And it's just a small little smidgen of a portion of your life, the work that you do, that everything else that's more important, family, friends, connectivity, love, all of that is what we're doing the work for, so that we can have more time to spend and do it in comfort, right? So we have to get our heads wrapped around, work is just a minuscule part of life. And the moment you can recognize what is working for you at work and what's not, you can release and let go. And the fact that you're doing that over a slow period of time. I'm the same as you, Amber. because we've talked about this.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it is the most exhausting thing that you don't realize is exhausting until you're exhausted, right? Doing readings and connecting with loved ones on the other side. It is taxing on us, not only the connection, but it's the after effects. I find, you know, even though you have to have a special kind of constitution to be able to handle the stuff that you uncover when you're connecting with souls from all walks of life, right? And the damage that humans do to each other and all of that, it can be quite trying on the soul for anybody working in this industry. So it has been a long time for me. I remember saying to you a year ago, or even a couple of years ago, I need to stop doing this in person. I think if I can do this over the phone only, my life will be so much better, because then I won't have that energetic connection that having somebody in the home represented. And that was graciously handed to me on a silver platter when COVID hit, because now I don't have to have anybody in my home. So that was but I'm like you in that I want to start moving away from the one-on-ones, because I feel like if we can hit the masses doing something more connected to everyone rather than the one-on-ones, we'll feel a lot more content with what we're doing, I think.
Yeah, it's true. I think, I get that. And I think that what it is it's the normal evolution of ourselves, right? And when I'm all about aligning authentically. And sometimes that means that battle of ego over, your shadow self. You have to do that shadow work in order to align authentically. And I think I was so caught up in finding my purpose in the first place that how could this have changed? And I know there's going to be people out there that understand what I'm saying, because we've always been taught. The message was, you find what makes you happy, what your purpose is, you get to that goal, and you live happily ever after.
Yes. Yeah.
It doesn't say work for 5 years, reevaluate. You might have to do something else, taking a whole different level, or you might go up the ladder. And if you're not afraid of heights, you'll get to the top. But nobody says that. They say, one and done. And that's not what life is about. And I think going through that evolution really got me to the part of being happy in myself, being happy in my soul. And being authentic isn't about being perfect. It's far from that. It's about accepting the shadow side and the light side of ourselves, the spring, the light and the dark, and loving all of that on you, and knowing when there's times to reroute and figure out you're going the wrong way, and have the people that are around you say to you, here's the light, look at this way. And I think that's what I'm blessed for, because I have this great support system of people, including you, that are giving the light and the perspective and cheering me on no matter what. And I think that helps somebody really feel strong enough to say, I am this person, and love it or not, here I am. And I think that's what I came through, and that's where I am right now. And I think I know empowering women and having that voice for women, especially women who want to connect authentically with clarity and meaning, because I've been there. And I think that's the biggest piece is I had to go through that darkness to be able to see the light, to share with those people. And that's where my heart and soul is right now. And that's what makes my soul smile. So I'm looking forward to that and the growth and awareness and where that takes me. But it was dark at times, because you have to really go deep, and you have to be okay with the emotions that come with that. And you have to really reevaluate who means what and what means what. And did that belief system make sense when you were growing up, today, tomorrow, or right now? And let go of what doesn't, even if you have been ingrained that this is the way it's supposed to be. and I shed all of that. So, you know, I got to this space, and it will grow again. I know in 3 to 5 years, I'll be doing this again. This is just the way it is. Every 3 to 5 years, you will do this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly how my life's gone too, every 3 to 5 years. And typically at the 3-year mark, I get itchy foot syndrome.
Yes.
Like, it's like, I gotta do something different. I've accomplished that. And now, you know, and I've had people say, I can't believe you're walking away from this. And still to this day, I can't believe you walked away from that, but look at where you are today. Well done, you. And it's like, but if I hadn't walked away from those jobs or those belief systems or whatever it was, traumas in my life, you name it, I wouldn't be in the position I'm in today. So using spring, which is the perfect time to plant new seeds, right, in life, because you're just engrossed by, you know, not only the glorious weather, but you're watching birds really busy, you know, gather for their nests, and you're watching the flowers coming out of the ground, like they're just poking their little heads up now. It's all showing you that you can redo. There's always a redo button, a reset button. Just get going today and create now what it is you desire in the future. And it's just that simple. It is like literally having an easy button. And be it okay with letting go of things that you thought were lifelong passions or dreams or whatever. It's okay to let go, because when you do that, you open up for new to come in.
Yes.
It's so exciting. I'm excited for both of us because of that. And I'm so grateful. You know, I have to remind the viewers and the listeners, Amber, that, you know, you and I met, I don't even know how long ago it was now, Amber. Can you remember? Was it like,
I don't know if it was 2 or 3 years ago this last November.
like the number 7 years ago. Clearly.
Oh my gosh, I don't think it was that long ago.
I don't know. I don't even know where the 7's coming from, but it feels like I've known you my lifetime, right? Like everybody that I connect with on this level, it feels like I've known them for my lifetime. And so that's when you know you're in the right place with somebody. But when we met, it was both of us knew in our very first conversation that we need to work together. We just knew there's something here. We've got to do some work together. And creating this show is just off the charts to me. I'm so blessed that we have it. And then other things that we've come together on, the Crystal of the Month Club, you know, and now the latest adventure of the Psychic Association, which is just like, what? Are you kidding me? So it's very exciting stuff with Miss J Lane. Exactly. So exciting. And, you know, I just think what's coming. And if this is what we have to look forward to now, what else is coming? So anybody watching or listening to this, you know, take heed that if you're not even aware of what you want right now, because 90% of you will be in that place. I mean, I was in that place for years, not knowing what I wanted. And it's one of the questions I ask clients who are struggling. I say, what is it you want? What do you want? And they can't answer. They can't answer that question. And so I'm going to challenge all the listeners and viewers today to ask themselves, what is it you want? What do you want out of life? What do you want out of love? What do you want out of your family? What do you want? What do you want out of your job? What do you want out of your downtime? What do you want? Just think of that question. What do you want? And you will often default to, oh, I definitely don't want this. Don't go there. Don't do that. Don't focus on what you don't want. Focus on what it is you desire. And you may have to write a list. I remember I've done many, many lists in my days where I've written pros and cons of what I want and got myself to, okay, well, I can see this. And I can tell you one thing that's really cool, because I can guarantee you Amber's on the same wavelength with this. I had no idea that I'd be here. I knew that I didn't want what I didn't want back in the day when I left my full-time job. And I thought at the time I wanted to be a full-time reading, you know, a psychic psychic medium reader. That's what I thought it was. And lo and behold, that was just the beginning. That was the seed that started and germinated into so much more. And I know, like you said, Amber, in 5 years, 3 to 5 years, something else will come to fruition. So it's exciting.
It really is. And I think when, you know, I love that you challenged people to ask themselves what they want. And I think you should also think, you know, what's the worst that's going to happen if you make steps to do it? Because I think we think our spouse is going to leave us or condemn us. Our parents aren't going to support us and we're on our own. You know, we're going to burn bridges with employers and coworkers. You know, our friends are going to think we're crazy. I don't have enough money to make this change. Whatever it is you're saying, I'm too old to go back to school. I'm too, you know, there's no jobs out there right now. Like whatever it is that you're saying is important to identify, because that's where the healing has to happen. If you're thinking this is your block, that is your block, because that's where the healing has to happen. And that's what you have to focus on. And the only way you can do it is dive deep into it. And, you know, yes, you know, I always tell people, like I was in HR before this, I feel like, yeah, a different lifetime ago. Yeah. And I would say to people, like, you might know that you want to be a lawyer, but what part of law do you want to work in? What are you trying to achieve here? Because if your goal is to stand up for victims of abuse and you're doing, you know, real estate law, you're not in the right zone. You have the right title, lawyer, but you're not in the right zone. So how do we get you from this space to that space, right? And I'll tell you something. When you are looking your purpose dead in the eye, you're gonna feel anxiety. You're gonna feel scared. You're going to feel shaky, and you're going to come up with every reason why to keep yourself in that comfort zone. Because when you're aligning to your purpose, your body's doing something to you. It's speaking to you. It's saying, finally, here you are. Do it. Let's go. And turn that stress and anxiety terminology into excitement and motivation and drive to get to the next steps. So listen to yourself, listen to your body, listen to what you're saying and talking to yourself and how you feel, and then focus on those spaces and go the opposite way, because, you know, we don't always have tomorrow. And do you want today to be what you're doing every day, or do you want to do something different and get to that space? Because you can have that. You can have it. And Liz and I are proof you can have it.
You know, it's so funny that you brought up, you know, paying attention to your body, because I read somewhere, and if I'm wrong on this, you know, definitely reach out and tell us, but I believe it went something like this, that the body reacts identically to fear as it does excitement. So the same emotion, the same reaction internally, the body, sweat, you know, shaking, trembling, all of those, fear and excitement, the body reacts the same way. So you get to choose, because you're the creator and manifester of all your feelings and emotions. Nobody gets to choose your feelings for you except for you. And you default to one way or the other. So if you're finding that you're overwhelmed or anxious, or, you know, why me all the time, recognize that you're choosing that direction, that you're choosing that feeling, that emotion. And it's simply recognizing, so like Amber alluded to with us going into the shadow side, looking at your passion deep straight in the eye and saying, what about this? What about this? And why can't I? Another thing I will often say to clients who are struggling in that area, you know, if you wanted to be an astronaut tomorrow, I don't care what age you are. I don't care what physical shape you are in. I don't care what it is. Whatever you think is restricting you from being an astronaut, you can be an astronaut if you set your mind to it. It's like if you want to be a paleontologist, it doesn't matter what you're doing right now. It doesn't, you have to set your mind, your goals towards that direction. And within years, you can be that. It doesn't happen overnight. And that's that, you know, fast food and mentality. We have to have it yesterday. If you can get your head wrapped around, it doesn't matter what you want to be. It matters that you need to want it, right? You really need to strive for it. And you can have whatever you desire. every human on the planet has a brain and has, you know, physical abilities to do the same things. And it's just all of us are choosing different directions.
Mm-hmm.
You have the same capacity, unless, you know, and even those that are stunted with learning disabilities or, chemical imbalances or whatever, their direction may be different, but they still have the capacity for desire. So you can get past any obstacle if you put your head down and just do it. And if you don't get to that, you know, end in sight, you're going to find that you were given another direction every single time. It's never not happened to me, or anybody that I know. So don't fight or resist what isn't working, and just reevaluate. Sometimes, you know, it literally is a simple case of reevaluating. And it, like you had mentioned, you know, what type of lawyer do you want to be? What type? So, you know, if somebody, say, wanted to get into, you know, the medical field, you know, you're trying to get to this, like you have this as your end goal. Maybe, you know, what you're doing is exactly where you need to be right now. And over time, you will get to that other end goal, or there'll be something completely, maybe you're going to be a doctor. Maybe that's what's going to happen. Who knows? But it's all about your belief in self and perseverance in anything.
And knowing who you are, because that's the work we're talking about. And that's when, you know, spring and the evolution of self and rebirth is a good time to take stock of that and really, you know, write down things you love about yourself and things you want to achieve. And what does that look like? And are you even leading that life? Is that even where you are? So those are some challenges that we've got, that we've done ourselves, that we continue to do. And it's not one and done. It never is.
No.
So spring is exciting. There's lots of new things happening. And it's a time to figure out where you are in the balance of the people around you and the things you're included in too. And to see where you fit with it. And don't forget to lead with your feminine energy, because the feminine energy in both male and females let us be and exist, go with the flow, and use our intuition to get us to that space. If you're too focused on trying to control everything, you're missing opportunities because you're micromanaging the situation. If you're open and flowy and feminine, there's a lot more that you can do with that. And the awareness level is extremely heightened, because the masculine energy is very hyper-focused and driven and goal-oriented, which is great. And that's why balance is important. But use your feminine in the spring to work with you and connect your higher self.
Beautifully said, Amber. Beautifully said.
Well, it was so lovely talking to you today.
God.
Exciting to see what is going on, and it's all good. I feel amazing, and I'm happy. I'm happy spring is here. I can't even tell you how happy I am.
I totally hear you. I'm like, I'm wearing shorts. I'm wearing shorts. You know, I had tried the resisting of breaking up the gardens because of the bugs and bees and all of that, and I kept that in the back of my mind, and then I ended up doing it, and I was so disappointed in myself for doing it, because I was like, why did you do that? But I was just like so taken in by this beautiful weather. So I hopefully haven't destroyed too many creatures. But I said to my husband, we'll just keep the bags in the back, and anything that's in those bags, like in the roughage bags, they can still hatch. They're still protected in the roughage there. So we're not taking it to the dump yet, just in case anything that desires to be here is still here. I know.
There was a huge wolf spider in my sink today, and I'll tell you, you can take that with you.
Oh my gosh. You know what? So many people are freaked out by spiders, and I'm not.
I just didn't like the fact that it could fit on the palm of my hand and was so big and black and
hairy.
Right? I don't know where it came from, but it was in the sink, and I just was like, what is that?
He's getting a drink. That's all he was doing.
For heavens almighty. It was nice to be seen, but definitely deserves to be outside in the nice grass.
See, I do. I will keep some spiders, like the daddy long leg ones. I leave them to their own devices.
I don't mind those. But
I don't mind those. But the wolves are, yeah, I'm with you on those. They're kind of, I don't like centipedes. Is it centipede? No. they're the long legs, like they've got a million legs, whatever
Yes.
they are. And they run at you. It's like they charge you when they're and I get them in my little room downstairs. And it's in the winter time that they show up. They come out and they're like, hey lady, what are you doing in my room? And I'm like, get out. Don't let me see you. If I don't see you, then I don't care that you're here. But once I see you, I have to catch you. And then I feel guilty about throwing you outside because it's wintertime. So just stay out of my eyesight. That's all I say. That's all I say. I'm not a fan. I don't like it. But
Well,
there was a big flood in Australia just recently, like the last few days. And it was like an appalling flood. And what happened was all these brown spiders came up out of the ground. And so not only did these poor people have to deal with floodwaters, but laying on the top of the water was millions of these spiders. And Australian spiders they're big. They're not wolf spiders. They're like big buggers. So can you imagine?
no.
That wouldn't have been pleasant.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no thanks. Yeah.
Thousands of them? No, I'm good. I don't need that kind of energy. That's crazy. So everybody who joined us today, thank you for coming on. And there has been a few people have done a shout out. Vanessa, Nancy saying, yes, Amber, this is so true. Life is not one and done activity book. She's right. Karen is saying, glad you are both moving to a happier plane. So much less stress on your lives. So much more joy.
Thank you.
So true. Sabrina is saying, hi, ladies, and hi, Willow.
Hello.
Kim is saying energy drawing, right? So she must have been talking about when we were talking about how it can be a little overwhelming. Spiritual Niagara is on. Hi, Spiritual Niagara. Thank you for joining us. Happy spring to you both. And a big shout out to Miss Kathy, who's going through an operation, and hopefully that's already happened and all is well there. So prayers for Kathy, and
lots of light around her.
Lots and lots of light around her. If anyone deserves to come out of this with a new life, oh my God, it's Kathy. Christina saying, oh my God, hug your cat for me, sweet little thing. Vicky, Nancy, and Cheryl, I'll say hi. So hi, ladies. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Now get outside and do something fun.
Yeah, exactly. Amber, I love you.
I love you. Thanks, everybody. See you later. Oh, Willow's moving now.
Bye, Willow.